Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this video for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is a very quick, non-procedural, okay, keep that in mind, for starting the Boeing 737 from PMDG. So, we're going to jump right in, okay? Again, this is non-procedural, this is not to the T with the checklist. This is if you're, I would say, 50% there in terms of following checklists and procedures. This is just a way to kind of get the aircraft on the tarmac, for the most part. Okay, so before I actually get the starting off with my first thing I do to get the plane going, I'm going to show you how I remember this stuff. So I created a little image. I'll bring it up on the screen. You should be able to see it now. And that little image is a little checklist I made. I'm going to include it with the description of this video, and you can feel free to download it. I have it laminated, printed and laminated. So I have one for this. I also have one for the Kodiak, which I don't really use that often anymore. I've got the Kodiak down very well in terms of the checklist, at least the basic checklist. And that's pretty much what this is, a basic checklist of how to get the 737 off of the ground. So that is a little picture of what I have. And again, I'll include it with the description of this video. So we'll get rid of it. It's gone. All right, so let us begin. So the first thing we want to do is I also have shortcuts set up for the 737. And my second camera view is the top panel here. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and click on the battery switch right here. That turns on, well, the battery. The second thing you want to do, I have another shortcut, camera view right down here, is you go to FS Action, Ground Services, and you want to request the ground power. After doing so, give it a couple of seconds. We're going to switch up back up to here. Ground power will be available, which it is. Ground power is now on. With that set, I'm going to scroll up just a little bit with the mouse. I'm going to turn this to nav and this to nav. That is for the IRS navigation. Okay? The next thing, I'm going to reset like that. We're going to turn on the AFT fuel right there. And then we're also going to turn on the APU. So that down to start. Doing so, you'll see this guy go all the way up to about 7 or so, I think it is, and then it kind of slowly, gradually drops back down to somewhere in this 4 to 2 or so. By the time you're done doing the other stuff, that will be all set. After doing that, I will go over here, turn on the seat belts, the smoking, and I will turn on or arm the emergency exit lights. I also now will do the probe for the windows. And I will also set a cruising altitude. I'm just going to make one up for this flight because I can't remember what my cruising altitude would be. So we're going to say 3,200 feet. I'll also set the lights. Again, don't come into this video and say, "Oh, this is not procedure." I've told you many times in the beginning, this is not procedure. This is not real life. This is simply to get you going in the aircraft. You may hear birds back there. Sorry, they're squawking. All right, once that's done, I will now go down to the bottom panel again, and we will go to Menu and to the FMC. Now that we're in the FMC, we'll go to Position, hit that. We will go over to the next page, grab our GPS, and go back to the previous page and drop that in. The plane now knows where we are at the airport. I will now put in my route. So I'm not flying, actually. I'm just making this video simply for the startup. But for this flight, we are in Wellington, WN. This information I already have from SimBrief, but I'm just going to show you how I would normally go with the flow of my flight. Oh, I did that backwards, didn't I? WN, what is it? DN? DN. Okay, I'm doing good. Okay, and again, I don't even know what runway there are here at all. So we're just gonna again, I'm just going with the flow of things. Activate, activate. Okay, it doesn't have a runway, that's fine. I could probably get it right here. Departure, runway, let's just say that. There we go, bam. And go back to here, 16, it's in there. Okay, so now we go to this page. We would put in our thing here. We would put in one here, and we'd put in, again, that procedure. Put in our cruising altitude. Bam, execute, next. Actually, I didn't have to go next there. Go here, flaps 5. So now at this point, I'm going to go back to our FS actions under payload, and I'm going to set random. I'm just going to get a random amount of passengers in the plane. Then I'll hit the CG a couple times, 580. Trim wheel time. So you can, if you have a trim wheel, great, you can trim it. If not, you can do it in the cockpit itself. Or if you have a button, I have the Honeycomb Bravo, so I would set this to the 5.8. Okay. Then we would hit our V1s, V2, or V1, VR, and V2s. That's all set. And for the most part, the FMS is ready to go. Okay, so now we have that set. We are going to go up to, whoosh, back up here. We already have ground power. We know the APU is ready to go. So we can flip in, flip in. All right, so that's all good. And now we can turn on our yaw damper. That is set. We can turn on the remaining fuel, which they're now on. We already have those all set. And now we would simply get pushback clearance from the tower. Again, I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just going to show you. So let's just pretend we have pushback clearance. We're now ready for start. We're going to crank this over to ground. We're going to turn on our APU bleed. And we're going to go ahead and turn on the right engine. We're going to go back on down to the main here. We're seeing that there is activity. We're going to flip a switch. And we're just simply going to wait at this point for the engine to get a good startup. While we're waiting for that, we can go back to the FS actions. We can go to the ground services. We can release the ground power. And we could also release the wheel chocks. By doing so, you're also having the, what's it called? Then remove the stairs from the side. So while I'm waiting for that, I can also go ahead and set my cruising altitude. Or whatever altitude, if you're going to use the ATC, whatever they cleared you for. You can also set up your speed. And you can turn on your auto throttle and flight director. Now that that's good, we can go ahead and we know the engine's all set up. We can go to ground and left engine startup. We're going to wait for a little bit of activity. Looks good. Engine 1 started. And now at this point, I'll go ahead and arm my speed brakes and set my flaps down to 5. Again, at this point, you would be, what's it called? You would be pushed back from the gate, and you're pretty much getting ready for taxi. And once you have a good engine start, that is pretty much going to be it. We'll have one more little step to do, and that is it. It's pretty simple getting this plane going. I heard a click. The click is done. We're going to sit this back to the middle. We'll turn on our taxi lights. We'll turn off our APU bleed, and now turn on our packs. Get some oxygen for the passengers back there. And that's it. You're ready to go. You would turn on your runway lights, your landing lights when you're at the runway. But that's it. That is how you start up the the 737. This is a 700 version, but I assume it's all pretty much the same when it comes to 737s. I appreciate you watching this video. Give me a comment down below what you thought, if you need any tips, tricks with it, and give me a thumbs up on it. I appreciate it, and we'll see you for the next video. Thanks again.